Okay, this is my audience: Steven, Tiffany, Tullis, and special guest, my baby brother Silas. Okay. So, to quote Casey Shannon, there is a need for there is a need for intervention for the youth of America. Okay, it's a very abstract thing to say, but I think we could all agree that there is a very big behavioral crisis in our country right now, especially amongst the youth, right? To give just some immediate data, here is a statistic of how many youths are locked up in the United States. This was taken in 2024. Um, so, although the amount of children being incarcerated for crimes has gone down, the crimes they are being incarcerated for and for the duration of those incarcerations has gone up, and the crimes have become much more violent and just worse overall. Um, and so, to quote Michael Shader, abuse and neglect lead to more behavioral issues in a child. This is corroborated by Betty Bottoms, who wrote a child psychology journal in which she stated that divorced households and children coming from single parent households tends to have higher behavioral issues and score lower academically. I think you all know about Harvey, right? He has come from a single parent home that assumedly had a lot of neglect, as his mother was not in the best state when raising him. And you can see how his behavior is a lot more aggressive and defiant than how I would say most children are. Yet sadly, that kind of is becoming the norm for children in America as we are having a parenting crisis, and parents are not doing their job as well as they should be. So, um, you should be excited to try and help fix this problem by supporting the Boys and Girls Club of America. Now, you might be wondering, why would you want to support the Boys and Girls Club of America? Well, here is a graph or charts that were taken from their website. So they have helped people find jobs that give them better income, help them graduate, and also help them get more into STEM than they would have been originally. Um, so to give just a demonstration from a theoretical point of view, imagine there's a girl named Callie. Parents are divorced, does not have a strong attachment to her parents as she feels that their love is conditional because they fought all the time, hence their divorce. When she goes into the Boys and Girls Club of America, she has a mentor or a kind of like staff member that is her person. They help her do activities, they help her learn, and they help establish a strong and secure bond with the child, which has been proven to lower the risk of behavioral delinquency and academic degradation. I guess is the word I'll use. So to quote Keon Trace in a very interesting actual example of this happening. So back in the early 1900s in the South, a lot of children had their only goal set on becoming workers and farmers, right? They had no ambition to going to college because, your parents were poor and they needed to make money. So you all had to work on the farm, and education was a secondary priority. And so what these people had to do was when they would go to school, they would kind of ignore the teachers, and even the teachers that would kind of like pay attention to them would push them towards working in the agricultural industry. So what the Boys and Girls Club of America did was they came in and they helped with the agricultural side, right, to get the kids involved. But what they did was they made the kids file reports on what they were using donations for and what they were actually doing during the organization's time, right? And so the mentors and the staff would actually help the children learn to read and write better. That way they could fill out their own reports, which was a not mandate, but it was heavily encouraged by the organization, which helped spread literacy to a lot of children in the South who never really had any ambitions or goals to ever become competent in literacy or go to college. So, um, and although the mission impact has changed and their goals and like impact has kind of changed over the years from more academic based to being more behaviorally based, as we see nowadays with the parenting crisis, overall, they want to make parents and kids be like that. They want people to like each other and to feel safe and secure with each other. So, you might be wondering, what would happen if you did donate? If you did donate, you could probably see an increase in staff quality of life, meaning that the staff would have more money to take care of their own family, and the materials would be better. The children would have a more enriched curriculum, and therefore they would take more away from the organization. If you did donate, however, there also would not be an immediate impact, as the staff doesn't get paid a whole lot, and you donating $10, $20 is not really going to make a huge impact on bringing new staff in, but it's going to make the staff and the children already working or being involved happier and enjoy their time more. So overall, it's not going to be a giant impact if you donate, but there will still be an impact significant enough to where I think it's worth your money. So, in conclusion, the reasons why you might want to support the Boys and Girls Club of America is because they help kids reach their academic potential, help the kids develop strong social skills, and help prevent kids from becoming delinquents. Any questions?
Where can we get that?
boysandgirlsclubofamerica.com, or I think .org, sorry. Any other questions?